We're talking about Libya, the only place whereby Muslims really discussed with any consensus was Palestine. But now we're so divided, the Israelis are having a field day because no one's concerned about Palestine issues now. You have Lebanon with Hezbollah, weakened as a result of the war in Syria. We have Assad on his knees, virtually. We have Iran, weakened. Look at it! If it is not about the conquest of the region, it is about destabilizing the region. They talk about Ahmadinejad of Iran.
Russia is still strongly supporting.
What threat really does Ahmadinejad pose to the world? Does anyone really and honestly believe that he's trying to manufacture nuclear weapons? My friend, how is it? How is it? We have America, Britain, France saying you must not have nuclear weapons, you must not have nuclear weapons. It is an hypocrisy. How is it? We, the people of the world, why don't they get rid of all nuclear weapons? Get rid of all of them so no one has them. How can one nation which has nuclear weapons suggest to another nation you can't have it? Furthermore, let's go even deeper and look at these hypocrites. We have 5 permanent members on the Security Council who no one votes for. No one votes for these 5 permanent members. America, Britain, France, China and Russia. All 5 are nuclear nations and all 5 have the power to veto. And all 5 are the leading producers, manufacturers and sellers of arms. Who are the world's leading sellers and manufacturers of arms? America, Britain, France, China and Russia. The very 5 nations. We cannot even see the hypocrisy, the double standards that exists. How can I have a gun in my back pocket and tell you you can't have a knife? How dare you? Can we not see the moral contradiction? It starts from there. It starts there. How can the Western nations challenge Iran about its nuclear intentions, and they say they don't want weapons, they want the capacity to develop nuclear energy. That's what the Iranians say. They want nuclear energy. Britain has nuclear energy. How can you have nuclear energy and tell another nation you can't have nuclear energy? Then we have the Western nations ganging up on Iran, saying you're developing the capability to have weapons of mass destruction. Yet they say nothing about Israel, who has nuclear weapons. Israel has nuclear weapons, and none of these Western hypocrites challenge Israel, because Israel is a satellite state for the Western states. Don't give me this Zionist nonsense. The West are controlled. The West are controlled.
Who controls America?
The West are controlled by Israel.
Who controls this country? You don't understand.
Nonsense. The West are controlled by Israel. Sir, it is fair to say.
Tell me why it is. Just answer me a question.
And I know many Muslims believe that. Many Muslims believe that bullshit.
In America, this country is controlled by Jews.
Many Muslims, sir.
Why is it only Jews can control?
Why is it that only Jews can control this and that? Because first of all, sir, because Jews are organized. Jews are unified. And they show an example to the world by their determination to have a homeland and to unify around a common purpose. That's all they've shown as an example to the world. It's an embarrassment to the Muslims, to the West, that Jews have organized in such a way. Now it is fair to say that Jews have a very disproportionate amount of influence in Western politics. But that again is a result of their organization. They have very powerful lobby groups in America. There's AIPAC, otherwise known as the Jewish Lobby, or known as the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, known as the Jewish Lobby. Very, very powerful lobby group within the US that lobbies the US for actions. So yes, it is fair to say that America protects Israel, given much of the support that it has from its expats and people of Jewish faith living in America.
The Federal Reserve, always controlled by Jews.
Sir, look at the numbers of Jews who emigrated to America, fleeing persecution in Europe. Are you aware that by the turn of the 20th century, there were almost as many Jews in America than there were in Europe? There are almost as many Jews in America. Sir, you ask a question and I'm outlining it for you. At the turn of the 20th century, there were almost as many Jews living in America than there were living in Europe. Have you ever wondered, whenever you see the Israeli spokesperson or an Israeli cabinet minister or someone, more often than not they have an American accent? There's a deep connection to America and Israel, and that strength is given from those Jews, not just in America, but around the world, and I commend them for it. I commend them for standing up for something that they believe in. I am opposed to it because I believe that Israel, what's going on in Israel now is apartheid, but I do believe there should be some equitable solution to the problem. We cannot find a solution if we hate our enemy. It's not right, and in fact, I don't even perceive Israel as enemies. I was in jail in Israel. I was jailed in Israel. I was in prison in Ramla Given prison. I was arrested, taken to Ashdod naval base in Israel, and spent time in jail in Israel. It was terrible. 14 to a cell. It was nonsense. But there, I had discussions with many of the guards. We had these debates. Many of them have to do national service. Sir, this is understanding different people's points of view. My points of view may not necessarily be right, but they're mine. You said you do not support immigration in this country. Do you believe people should go back home? Yes. Sir,
No, they should kick them in the fucking ass.
Sir, if you are going to send us home, send him first. Always disrupt this meeting.
You give him a
Sir, I have no problem going home.
No way.
But if you want us to go home, do you want our gold, diamonds, uranium, titanium, cobalt, oil, copper, iron, lead, silver, rice, coffee, cocoa, tea to go home to?
Will you give us our railways
Do you want to go home?
and our roads?
What do you mean? Your railways. Your railways.
Where is the interest?
Sir, sir, the railways was built with immigrant and slave labor. The railways of America were built by the Chinese. The railways in Britain was built by the Irish. When I was a youth growing up, sir, you English do not know about hard work. When I was coming up in this country, the Irish were building the roads and building the houses. I always used to think, look at the Irish. When it was cold, it was minus 10 degrees, and the Irish were wearing string vests. Oh, you're cons. And they hated the British. Because you colonize the country. You're fucking, their only strength. My friend, the Irish hated the British, but they built your country. Sir, look around you. Look at the wealth that you see around you. What do you think bought this? The silk from India, the cottons and stuff from India, African resources and labor. Without it, this would be barren land. You'd be living in caves if it wasn't about us. You should thank us. Yes, we built your country. Sir, the highest honor, sir. Let's look at the consequences of what would happen if we left home, if we left this country. First of all, sir, if we left this country, 70% of your doctors are immigrants from the National Health Service. When you fall ill, there'll be no one to treat you. When you fall over, there'll be no one to pick you up. When you walk to Marble Arch train station, there'll be no one to let you in because the stations will be closed. My friend, look at what we have contributed to your lifestyle. Sir, we are debating. I can say to you that in Africa and Asia, we have given you resources to build your country. Gold, diamonds, uranium, titanium, cobalt, oil, copper, iron, lead, silver, rice, coffee, cocoa, tea. What have you given us besides fish and chips and Kellogg's cornflakes? How are you doing, Sammy? What have you got? What do you have? Sir, I say to you that it is people like yourself that have this primitive mentality. Why can we not? I say to you, sir, I'm trying to help you. I'm a counselor. Let me try and help you. I'm saying to you, sir, racism and prejudice is a disease. It affects us all. I'm saying to you, do away with these prejudices. Let us accept the fact that Britain is now multicultural. Let us accept the fact that globalization is a reality of today. Israel has to accept it. They've now voted in a black Miss Israel. There are Ethiopians, Falashas. The world is mixing. Why can we do away with thinking about race and all this nonsense and think about good human beings? Sir, would you rather live next to a good white man? Sorry, would you rather live next to a good black man than live next to a bad white man?
That's a very difficult question.
Difficult question, but a logical one.
Bad he was.
Who would, sir? Sir, I'm saying to you, the question is, imagine, he even has to evaluate it, because you'll give some credit to a bad white man. Imagine. I'm asking you, would you rather live next door to a good person of colour than a white man who's bad and evil?
But I do know that the
I've asked you a
white
question.
man would be my problem. the black man is not my problem.
You know that so there we have some common ground. He says he realizes that the black man would not be his problem, but the white man would be his problem. Why can we not recalibrate how we see the world? Why can we not recalibrate our own prejudices? Because I firmly believe, even though some of the inflammatory rhetoric you might hear coming from my mouth, I do believe that as human beings, as humanity, we can find common solutions to common problems, whether it be Jewish, whether it be Israel and Palestine. I'm not going to say Jewish versus Muslim, because it's not Jews versus Muslims, it's about land. There must be solutions. Even America's arrogance, even America's arrogance. America's so arrogant, they believe they have the right to dominate the world. Look, my friend, let me say this about the English. England is a great country. England, no sir, it is a great country now. England is a great country of tolerance. It is better to be black or non-white living in England than to be black or non-white living in France, living in Spain, living in Poland, living in Italy, living in Germany. It is better to be non-white and Muslim or non-white full stop and living in this country. The British people have shown themselves to be humane and tolerant. Of course, there are still a lot of problems. But I believe what you have here is an example that you can export to the world in terms of tolerance. But you don't see it that way.
No,
you see it as a problem.
I can see the end result of our tolerance.
You can see the end result.
Me and read the
Sir,
newspapers.
the reason why you see the end result like that, by reading newspapers. If you read newspapers, the newspapers are going to feed you the propaganda that you want to hear. They will tell you about Muslim pedophiles.
Well, are you telling me that soldier didn't get killed last week?
Okay, he said, am I telling him that the soldier did not get killed last week? Let's put it into perspective. You tell me a soldier was killed last week. Did it not happen? Yes, it did happen. What does that say? People are killed and murdered for different reasons every day. We have an individual who committed a cowardly, dastardly, murderous act. But you cannot then say, because he committed an act, that Muslims did it, or even Nigerians did it. He was born here, but they call him Nigerian descent. If he was white, they wouldn't talk about where he's descended from, because he's white, he's white. Sir, I'm saying to you, it's neither here nor there. A killing happened. Sir, it's funny how you know of the soldier, and we all know his name, Lee Rigby. He was killed a week and a half ago. Are you aware of the name of a Muslim, a 75-year-old Muslim man named Mohammed Salim, who was hacked to death with a machete 2 weeks prior to that attack, in a racist attack? You don't know about it because the media never told you about it. But a Muslim was hacked to death, murdered, by a racist.
You know this?
Yes.
Was this the crime that was on Crime Watch?
No, sir. Sir, there's video evidence of the individual. But we have no reporting, no wall-to-wall reporting, no explanation. In fact, the killer of Mohammed Salim is still out there to attack again. But because he's not attacking white people, there's no concern to capture him. And that happens all the time. Yes. Yes.
What about the murder?
Sir, the amount of attacks that have taken place against Muslims in this country as a result of the war, after Lee Rigby was killed, look at how many mosques were attacked with firebombs and all the rest of it. And isn't that an act of terrorism? But it's not framed in that way, because you are the people arrested. No, sir, not all of them got arrested.
Plenty of people have been arrested for it.
It depends on how we frame the story. I'm saying to you, the Western media are happy for you to be ignorant. The Western media will use propaganda methods.
For me to be ignorant about Stephen Lawrence, I've not stopped about it for 15 years.
Stephen Lawrence, sir.
All the attacks
Stephen Lawrence, sir.
Killed by blacks.
Stephen Lawrence.
What cares?
No, sir, it's all over the media. That's why you had Operation Trident. I made a documentary about it. I made two documentaries. I made one documentary called Gang Wars for Dispatches, and I made another documentary called Bang Bang in the Manor. That was aired on the BBC. Sir, I've made documentaries about it. It's discussed. Black on black violence is seen as, because they want you to feel that the threat is just within the black community. Sir, when there are crimes committed by white people, they do not racialize the crimes. When a rape is committed by a white man, they do not say, oh, all white people are rapists. We have that man who raped and murdered the 5-year-old girl in the media of recent, a white man. What do you have to say about him? Is he Muslim? Look how many Catholic priests have been done for buggery. Are they Muslim? And I'm not even suggesting that it's all Catholics. I'm saying these are human traits, that the negative elements of humanity exist in all people. It's irrespective. So we cannot racialize these crimes and suggest because this man killed this soldier, he is a Muslim. No, it's nonsense. Sir, this week, 2 days ago, an American soldier pleaded guilty to murdering 16 Afghan civilians. 16. Do we say all white people did that? Are all Christians responsible for that? No, we don't. That is the sad reality. When a black man commits a crime, all black people are responsible for it. When a Muslim commits a crime, all Muslims. I remember when I was a youth, when I was a young man growing up, I used to watch the media. And whenever they'll say, there's a rape, I was just saying, please don't let it be a black person. Please don't let it be a black person. Because when I leave home, I feel as though I did it. I feel guilty for something. Because the media made all black people feel guilty for the crimes of someone committed by a black person. Now, when we had the soldier killed, Lee Rigby, the British media and government, all people saying, well, what are moderate Muslims doing? Why don't moderate Muslims go out and condemn it? Well, how is it no extreme? They never asked the EDL or the BNP to go out and condemn the death of Mohammed Salim, the 75-year-old actor death. When white people commit crimes, you don't ask extremist groups to apologize. It's nonsense. How arrogant to ask Muslims who never commit the crime to condemn it. Why? They shouldn't just condemn that crime, they should condemn all crimes. Be consistent with it. I also blame many of these black artists, black musicians, black rappers in terms of the black on black violence that we experience within our communities. These people like Puff Daddy, Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, look at my diamond ring, look at my gold chain, look at my $150,000 teeth. They are foot soldiers of capitalism. They are selling death. They are just as responsible as any American president. Look at the nonsense that is spread in the communities. But we have to look at the elements of racism that allows them to perpetuate these messages. We have these black artists talking about nigger, bitches and hoes. I shot a nigger 9 times, killed a nigger in a drive-by. Nigger, 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 nigger. Nigger, 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 nigger. Killed the nigger, shot the nigger. Yo, bitch, ho, suck my dick. and they allow those sort of messages to go out. Nigger, 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 nigger. If there was a white man, they would never allow a white artist to perpetrate or to perpetuate such lyrics and sell nationwide. Not even Eminem. Eminem can talk about I hate my mother, I'm gonna chop my mother to death. But he's not talking about white women. You'll never see a white artist saying, I just did a drive-by on some honkies. I just shot the honky. I shot the honky 9 times. Hey, you white women are bitches and hoes. You bitches and hoes. They would never allow that type of message to get out. But Jay-Z becomes the #1 artist and they'll have him singing in the park, singing at Glastonbury. When they perpetuate these negative images, we have 2 questions. One for me.
My question is, do you see something positive in the fact that these people are protected when they are behaving badly?
Do I see some...
So when these black people say nigger, nigger, nigger,
yes.
Do you see that as something positive? If I would have difficulty sorting that out in my mind.
Do I see there's something positive when people say nigger, 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 nigger? No, of course not.
Of course it's not.
Of course not.
But what does it say about our society that we do that?
She says, what does it say about our society? Exactly what I'm saying to you, madam. We are challenging the powers that be when I say to you that when you have black artists saying nigger, 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 that you would not have a white artist. It would not be permissible. So we have to ask the questions, how is that possible within the society? It goes even deeper than that when we begin to analyze the media. Hold on, madam. It goes even deeper than that. A few years ago, hold on, madam, you asked the question, allow me to elaborate, we'll get back to you. We have the #1 soaps in this country. With the #1 soaps a few years ago. Friends, Frasier, Sex in the City. How many black people or non-white people do you see on Friends, Frasier, Sex in the City? Even the cleaner in Frasier is white. Even the cleaner. And that's doing some Hispanic out of a job. Look at it. So even the narrative as to how you propose America to be, you exclude black people in that American narrative, in that American image. Of course we have a black president. That puppet president, that murderous president, that president in the White House who's worse than George Bush. That's who we have. But how is it we have a black president? We have a black president by design because the powers that be realize and understand how the public think. It is by no accident when we look at the United Nations, every head of the United Nations over the last 20 odd years has been non-white. From Boutros Ghali to Kofi Annan to Ban Ki-moon. Why is that? Let's understand it, the psychology of it, what it means. Because people recognize, the powers that be realize, that black people selling war and conflict has much more credibility and mileage than white people. Because a black man who's been through slavery, suffering, oppression, he's supposed to, or she's supposed to know better, to understand and to ally themselves with those who suffer. That's why when we think of icons of peace and icons of humanity, we think of non-white people. We think of Gandhi. We think of Martin Luther King. We think of the one in waiting, Nelson Mandela. People of color, because they're supposed to know better. Then we get to the narrative of the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Who sold the war in Iraq? Colin Powell sold the war in Iraq. Who took over from him selling the war when he resigned? Condoleezza Rice, another black face. And now when we gain that mileage, we can say, well, we did quite a lot with a black face. We can have a black president as well. And look at what America has got away with a black man in the White House. There are more troops in Afghanistan under Barack Obama than there ever was